Good evening once again, and I welcome all of you back to another From Software OST reaction. Where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, how can we talk about one of the most iconic games that From Software has ever put out, without first even talking about whatever else, the very first boss fight. Now, this, whether this is actually one of I think the very first time that From Software ever actually did this, where whether you want to refer to him as Iudex Gundyr or Champion Gundyr, it's interesting because they are technically the same character, but for slightly different reasons. Iudex Gundyr, the Ashen Judge, is your first obstacle to get to Firelink Shrine. No, is your first obstacle to get to Firelink Shrine, and he becomes sort of consumed by the pus of man that basically emerges when he gets to like half health. And well, before that, the only thing that Iudex can actually use to hurt you is the memories that he once held. And then when you come to face him again as Champion Gundyr in an alternate future where the fire has already faded, he is the champion of Ash who never got to meet the Firekeeper, and the fire had already faded. So Champion's fate is literally to be, the one pride and joy of what used to be Firelink Shrine in an alternate world, but basically he's just left there completely to just collect dust and for all eternity, it would seem. So a very tragic character, no doubt, because his quest to become like an Ashen Lord is sort of a little bit, again, similar to ours as an unkindled one, but many could say perhaps Gundyr was the very last unkindled because where else has he got to go? And he can't really go anywhere else, and everything has long since forgotten him and left him behind. He is like a man born in the wrong century. Not through any fault of his own, just that's how he is. Or that's how fate cruelly determines it. And speaking of cruelly determined, the OST to accompany Gundyr is iconic, captivating in its spectacle, and it really distinguishes like a lot of the game's early themes all the way through the rest of this, throughout the entire game in all cases. But this is just, it's one of those things that sticks in your mind, which is something that like the first two games kind of struggled with when it comes to its first boss, because they're dramatic, but I don't really think they leave the biggest like lasting impressions. The Asylum Demon, because it's not really a fight, it's more of a puzzle you have to get around. And the Last Giant is just sort of easy, is the word to use. So what makes Iudex stand out even from those two? Well, let me demonstrate. I will also absolutely give flowers to the idea that when you get like Gundyr to half health, the music changes again, and this is also one of the best features because if you got to this far in the boss fight where the music changes, it means that Gundyr gets into his second stage where he's either overgrown by the puzzle man or he becomes red-eyed and is now incredibly fast and agile. Both are really, really unique challenges by themselves. But I think what elevates it with the OST is that the fight kind of slows down, but it also reinforces the notion that it's almost like two people fighting to the death and only one can remain victorious. It's not really. And again, this is almost all reinforced by the actual arena you fight Gundyr in, and how it's almost uh, like a small battlefield surrounded by corpses, an open grave, other tombstones, and there's only one way out. And so basically, it all winds down, and if you and for those who, of course, we cannot forget basically how the fight ends as well. So basically, what happens in the end is that uh, when at no health, either the Puzzle Man completely disappears back into Iudex, or his eyes stop glowing red, and he literally collapses onto both knees and just collapses forward dead, and that's the end of the fight. It's the ultimate conceit because, well, despite everything he's tried, he can't do it and collapses dead forward, and well, that's all she wrote. Again, the reason why I love that so much is because it's just he throws everything at you. He is your first real obstacle, and he is a reminder of how far you've come and what you are going to show him what you've learned. Because if you don't learn exactly how to fight in this game, by the time you get to Champion Gundyr, it's not going to work. You won't stand a chance. Mind you, with that being said, um, yes, Gundyr is Champion Gundyr. Technically, is a completely individual boss by himself. Well, as in like he's completely optional. But let's be honest, we've probably all had to fight him anyway because it unlocks probably the best ending to the game in many ways. But with all that being said and done, there it is. It's basically the protocol of the introduction to Dark Souls 3. And quite staggering, isn't it? And with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction to Iudex/Champion Gundyr, and I can't wait to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.